Hey everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the Tekno NT48 2.0 video build. In this video, we're going to be tackling alot, steering, front and rear suspension, anti-roll bars, and then attaching the front and rear clips to the chassis. It's going to be a bit more lengthy than most videos, so let's just jump right in. When installing these parts on the center diff mounts, make sure that you have them facing in the right direction. Pay close attention to the installation of the metallic brake pads. Tighten down the brake post screws until they are snug, but the main goal here is to make sure they are both equally installed. Follow the same procedure for the opposite side, paying close attention to the orientation of all the parts. The brake cams are directional, so make sure you have them facing the right way during installation. Install the lever about halfway into the cam. We can adjust it later if we need to. If you're using one, we suggest setting your power driver to a low torque level when installing any screws. Then follow up with a full tighten using a standard wrench. Before moving on, we suggest dropping your diff into the mounts to make sure it rotates freely. Press firmly to fully seat the differential with the brake discs outside of the mount. Now install the upper center bulkhead assembly, making sure the brake discs slide between the brake pads. The NT48 2.0 uses a bearing-supported anti-roll bar setup. Let's get working on that now. When locking down these set screws, it's a good idea to orientate them to be either facing up or out once the anti-roll bar is completely assembled. Attach the anti-roll bar ball so that it's flush with the end of the bar. The rear arm mounts are different. Be sure not to mix them up. These pills allow you to adjust the hinge pin positions on the car, effectively changing the setup. We will be building the kit with the manual recommendation for now. Another cool feature we love about Tekno rides, hinge pin inserts. They're a tight fit, so you may need to add some pressure to get them installed. The rear suspension arms are directional. Pay close attention during installation. The droop screws are specialized, being broached at both ends. This allows them to be installed from one direction and adjustable from the other. Okay, a quick look at the rear of the Tekno so far. That's one beefy looking assembly. On most of the driveline parts, grease can be your best friend. We like to use CoWRC's Udder Butter to keep everything well lubricated. Like the arm mounts, the Tekno also uses inserts in the hub carriers to alter the suspension. For now, we're going to go with the kit recommendation as well. Insert this set screw about 2 to 3 turns. We'll use it in a second to secure the wheel crosspin. Note the flat spot on the crosspin. This is where the M5 set screw is going to make contact to keep the pin secure. Yep, more inserts, these being on the outer part of the arm. over-tighten these set screws. Slowly snug them down until they hit the hinge pin. We're going to pass through the turnbuckle build. I'm sure by now everybody knows how to build these. The important thing to note is that the gap needs to be 69.5 millimeters wide. When installing the turnbuckles, make sure the notch on the adjustment square is pointing to the left side of the truggy. Before attaching the other end of the turnbuckle, make sure you key the CVA ball to the diff out drive. Rear suspension complete. Great job. Now set that masterpiece aside and let's get cracking on the front end. The front anti-roll bar assembles just like the rear. You can use the same method of assembling and attaching as you did with the rear. Like the rear, the front arm mounts are different. We're also going with the kit setup as far as the pill inserts as well. Like the rear, the front arms are directional and include inserts for a nice, smooth hinge pin fit. Go ahead and tighten these droop screws down all the way. We'll set them up after we get the entire truggy built. Nice job on the front clip so far. Let's get rocking on the steering system. Hang in there, we're almost done. Front CVAs, more of the same. Make sure to use thread locker and udder butter to help keep things locked and lubed. Tekno has us adding steering stops to the inside of the steering arms. We don't normally add these, but they are helpful if you have too much steering in your Truggy and want to mechanically limit it. We're fast forwarding through the front turnbuckles as well. Just make sure the gap measures 69.5 millimeters. There is a left and right of both the caster blocks and the steering assemblies we've already built. Make sure you match up the left to the left and the right to the right. Make sure the kingpin screws are tightened all the way down, then insert these set screws. Do not over tighten, just snug them up to help keep the kingpins from backing out. These two set screws are used to lock the outer spindle carrier hinge pins in place. Note the flat spot on the hinge pin. You'll want to aim this flat spot at the set screws we just installed. Like the rears, make sure the notch on the turnbuckle adjustment square is toward the left side of the Truggy. While installing the turnbuckles, don't forget to key the CVA ball to the differential outdrive. And just like that, we have the front clip of our Tekno NT48 2.0 done as well. Okay, final steps. Getting all this on the chassis. Let's go! Compress the servo saver spring a couple times to settle it prior to assembling. Here's something we've been doing for a while, adding grease to the servo saver. This helps keep it from sticking and causing odd steering inconsistencies. You may need to press quite hard on the servo saver nut to get it to initially engage. You can then use a 17mm nut driver to continue to screw it on. Build the left and right steering turnbuckles. The gap on these should be 71.5 millimeters. Also note the orientation of the rod ends. Both hooks should be facing each other. Because of the loose fit of the 6x10 bearings, we suggest assembling the steering one side at a time. Do not tighten these 10mm screws down all the way just yet. The head of the steering link screw gets captured in the steering arm. Be careful not to strip it out. Our servo of choice for the NT48 2.0 is the MKS HBL 599 high torque servo. This servo features a brushless motor, CNC machine case for cooling, and a chrome titanium gear set for 1/8 scale durability. It also boasts a whopping 527 ounces of torque, more than enough to keep the front tires pointed in the right direction. The rear chassis brace allows us to assemble it in one of 3 settings: low, medium, or high stiffness. Per the manual, we're going to build it in the medium setting. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to put all this on the chassis. Before we attach the front clip, we need to back this screw off so the chassis can slip under the front bumper. This is also a good time to make sure the feet of the steering posts are sideways, matching the grooves in the chassis. Key the CVA to the center diff, then slip the front clip into place. We'll be tacking the front clip to the chassis with a 12mm screw to the front chassis brace. We don't want to tighten all of these screws down just yet. Snug for now until we get all of them installed. We suggest adding a little chapstick to these 2 15mm screws to help them go in. Now that the front clip is in place, push the bumper over the chassis and retighten the 14mm screw. Now that all of the screws are installed, go back and tighten each of them up by hand. Front clip installed. Awesome job. Time to wrap up the video with the rear clip installation. Like the front, we don't want to screw these in all the way just yet. A little bit of chapstick on these 2 15mm screws will help them install a bit easier. A little hand tightening of these rear clip screws and we are done with part 2 of the Tekno NT48 2.0 build. Whew, that was a workout. We hope this video helped you out with the assembly of your new Truggy. Please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of future videos in this series. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.